Hi Alexis, how you doing? So I just want to let you know that what we have here is different than what you have in your PDF. So I'm not real sure how you saved this out, or if you designed it as single pages, but you should be designing as spreads in InDesign. And if you go to this week's announcement, I placed an announcement in there. Let's go over there really quick. This will only take a second. And I'll take a look at the announcements. And as we opened very slowly, the announcement I placed, I think it was last night or early yesterday. Actually, it was the 5th, so it was 2 days ago. But anyways, it kind of describes how your book will look if you want to spread it, if you want to print it, how the spreads will look. And I also included this for InDesign. So basically, you can see how to set your file up. So as you would set it up on your first page, that would be your cover. And then depending on whether you want to print it or not, and the directions for that are up here, the description for that is up there. But you would go to page 1, then blank or introduction, then start your spreads on page 4 and 5. So basically, I think what we're looking at here is we're looking at your cover and your first page on the first spread. So I'm not real sure how that happens. So you definitely want to check out your export settings in InDesign and really check your files before you submit. And you should really get in the habit of that, especially once you graduate and you start working in the studio. I mean, you got to check your files. It's your responsibility in a studio. Okay, so we've got this, which is all spread out wrong. So I don't see the merit of commenting on that, but I can go here and get some basic comments for you based on what we have in this layout. Looks like it's correct. So I'm not real sure how you got this one to read correctly and the other one is not. So anyways, let's take a look at this. Now, my first question and my main question is why all the circles and all the color? I think it's really, really doing a number on your hierarchy. Keep in mind, what is the most important thing? As we've been talking about in the context of this class, the most important thing about typography is what? It's being able to read it and being able to make sense out of it. One of the key attributes of a good typographer is showing good hierarchy to accomplish both of those characteristics I just met. Now, this is not always easy, especially when you're working with other design elements. I say this because I think these circles are stealing the hierarchy away from your written text. And every page we see the same thing, okay? This page especially is fine for the cover. I mean, if that's what you want to use for the cover, that's great. But carrying it through to your pages, I think it's a big mistake because right now you're trying to communicate with circles and colors and you're coordinating your type to match the colors that you've used on your placed graphics, all right? What's wrong with that? Well, I'll tell you what, the way that I see it is this. When you're looking at this piece in your portfolio, when you're talking about this piece, the question comes up, what class was this for? And you say typography, and the portfolio reviewer is going to go, I guarantee it, inside their head, they're going to go, well, if this is typography, why aren't you concentrating on type? And that is exactly what I thought when I opened your work. I thought to myself, why, Alexis, why work on all this? Let's work on type. Let's take this opportunity to show what you've learned in the last 2 months and really push this typography showing what you have learned. Let me give you some examples. Well, one thing I want to say, theoretically, I think it's a good methodology to work on your page construction first, then start adding your page elements, your decorative elements, as it were. I don't think you did that here. Correct me if I'm wrong. I apologize. I'm not accusing you of not. I mean, maybe you did. It just looks like you put these pages together with the intent of using all of these circles, okay? And they're all just taking up too much attention, where attention should be going like this, okay? This page, for example, the attention should go boom, logo design, then it should go boom, right over to the text. Once the viewer is in the text, you got him. All you have to do is maintain a good flow and they're in. All right. My point on this page here is that you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things that are 8 and 9, and actually 10, that are taking precedence in visual hierarchy over your body copy. All right. And that's one of the very difficult thing to do in graphic design, is to maintain good hierarchy using typography. That's why you hear me talking about it week after week, is good typography, good hierarchy using type. All right, page mechanics, the grid, 2-column grid here. Okay, if this is going to be your 2-column grid, there's a lot of inconsistencies in here, and mainly it has to do with these pull quotes. And I think they're a mistake. I think, like I said, let's get some body copy in here. Let's set this thing up so that your portfolio reviewer or hiring professional is going to look at this and go, wow, this designer knows how to set type, as opposed to this, which is just a center-aligned quote. Okay, it's not showing us that you know typography. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, to push that thought further, take this. Take a look at this, all right? Then take a look at this. They're formatted completely different. They're placed on a page completely differently. There's an inconsistency. Another inconsistency would be this. This is one page that has a single text box, and so is this, but this one is so much wider than this one. All right, and then these pages, okay, and then I want you to print this page out right here. Take a look at how large this type is right here. I'll bet you that is set at, well, let me see. We go over here, Command R that, see that you're at 8.5 by 11. For each page, that's tabloid size. I'll bet you're at 14 here at this type size. Easy. And that's just enormous type size for that kind of application. So basically what I'm looking at is this. I want you to do this. I want you to set up a solid grid. And before all this, all these circles and, oh wait, I just want to point something out. I'm sorry, I just saw it. Okay, center aligned, these quotes, this one's left aligned, so is this one. So again, there's another inconsistency. Okay, so what I'm looking at here is that I want you to use a grid, and I really, really want you to use the grid. Draw it out solidly. And you know what I'd even like you to do? I'd like you to leave your grid on when you resubmit, so we can see, so you can see, so I can show you whether you're adhering to the grid or not, with it making perfect sense. Okay, I hope I'm making perfect sense. I know I've been going on for 8 minutes here, and that's too long, so I apologize. I'll cut this short right now. But I do want to mention that if you have any questions whatsoever, please allow me to clarify. I think you've got a lot of potential here. I will say this. Typographically, your paragraphs are set very, very nicely. Your character count is nice. One thing I do want to mention, though, is that you have, in justified type, you've got your indent, and you're really in there about eight spaces. So 3 or 4 tops, four spaces for your indent. Otherwise, your right margin just gets kind of destroyed like this. See those holes punched in that right margin? But okay, other than that, I think that the type, this is your strong point right here. The type setting for the body copy is your strong point in this whole presentation. So take that for what it's worth and run with it. Okay, let me know if I can help you further. Thanks very much.